quick, just a little kind of speed painting to see what we can do in just a couple minutes. And you know me, I do lots of turtles and terrapins and Grateful Dead things and the Green Turtle Tavern and all that stuff. So let's just see if we can knock out a quick little turtle. So I got a couple of colors laid out on my little palette here. It's a little kind of plastic case. Use whatever you got around, you know. So let's get a little green here, and we're just going to start kind of sketching out. So looky there. That's kind of like a little head real quick, you know. You got a little eye and make his mouth open there. A little kind of like he's singing. Like he's singing. So I like to do a lot of them playing banjo, you know, a little Terrapin station style. So do a little cartoony banjo real quick. You know, it's a circle and a rectangle and another kind of rectangle. You know, a couple of little tuning things. We'll make it a 5-string. Banjo is kind of like a snare drum almost, you know. Boom. So get his little arm going up here. Just sketch it out. It's all going to be real rough. Give him a little. Another arm kind of sketching here. Strumming away. Little chest plates. Make his head a little more round. A couple little hairs. I know turtles aren't really hairy, but I like to give them a couple hairs. Alright, he's going to be sitting down, so we're going to kind of give him a little leg out like that. And a couple little kind of claw-like little, you know, toesies. His other leg maybe is kind of a little higher back there. Alright, he's going to be sitting on a little kind of stump. You know, like Amos Moses. Just knock him in the head with a stump. Louisiana law's going to get you, Amos. You know the song. But anyways, he's going to be laying or sitting on a little tree stump out in a swamp. You know, you got to put a couple little mushrooms in there. Just keep it real loose, you know. Just get all the forms in there where you want them to be. Get his shell kind of coming up there and kind of coming around a little bit. And give him a little tail poking out there under the shell. He's singing and playing there. He's got some trees around here in the background behind him. I'm just doing this all one color real quick, you know, a kind of lighter color, so you can come back over it and add darker colors and refine everything. So just kind of a little hint of a funky tree there. Maybe he's got some like moss, kind of abstract sort of foliage hanging down. I got a little green, or you know, a little yellow got on my green. It's all good. You just happy accidents. Let it happen on the canvas there. So let's see. Maybe we'll change up, get a little blue on here, and get a little, this bottom area blocked in a little darker. Really in the beginning I like to just stay real fast and loose. I'm painting real fast for you guys, but I paint real fast at concerts. And you really feel the energy and kind of just get a lot of motion in the painting. Alright, let's get this eye situated there. Little nostrils. Alright. There's a little tuning keys. Got his head kind of blocked in, little ear. Little tongue like he's singing his little heart out. The shell kind of wrap around his little arm, little shoulder. I like to do little swirly things like Disney cartoon style for knees and elbows and fingers and knuckles and things like that. And a little thumb, a couple of little fingies. Just keep staying real loose. You can always come back. It's just acrylic, you know, dries real fast and you're just building up layers. So if you really kind of knock it out of the park with your sort of this sketch phase, then you know it's going to be good. You know, like, oh man, I got it. Chest shell plate thing there. Some little spots and scales and things. Make that top little part of the log solid there. So it's kind of a little bit of shadow of the body of the little turtle. You can just get real wet with it if you want on some spots. Just blending it with water. Out here in the yard on a Florida afternoon. Real loose. There's some of these little vine kind of Spanish moss things up here too. Just blocking the shape of the tree there. Sometimes you work from the negative to the positive. Sometimes you work from the positive to the negative. One of my favorite sayings that I don't know if anybody else ever said it. I think it's just something I came up with, is that painting is two-dimensional sculpture. So if anybody's ever said that ever before, you know, if I stole that somewhere, I've been saying it for years and years and years, and I've never seen it anywhere else. So I'm just going to claim that one for myself. A little nugget of wisdom there, that painting is two-dimensional sculpture. What I mean by that is sometimes you come through here and you carve away something. But sometimes you come and you add. So it's like additive and subtractive sculpture. Switching up a little white here and maybe just get a little dot in his eye there and a little highlight to make his eye, a little twinkle in his eye. And keep those little hairs in there. You might paint over stuff that you did and come back. That's how it is. You build up layers and stay real loose with it in the beginning and get more surgical with it as it goes. So just kind of covering up a bunch of the white of the canvas. Just covering up all the white of the canvas, just getting it real loosey-goosey and getting a lot of kind of just happy accidents. And you might make a part a little darker than you want. You might make it a little more drippy than you want, but that's okay. You can just come back and paint over it, and it's probably going to leave a little kind of ghost image of something cool that you never intended. And that's kind of how nature is. A lot of accidents and a lot of things that weren't intended to happen. So you know what, maybe we'll put a little friend up here. I was gonna say a bad word, but a little friend, little owl guy up there, a little tail going out there, a little tail feather. Just blocking them in. Just a lot of additive, two-dimensional sculpture right there. We'll give them a couple little toesies. Blocking some eyes. A little beak. Once you get a lot of this done, what I do is I come back and do a lot of line work. So whether you're just kind of inking it all over with black or a darker color, a dark purple or a dark blue or a dark green or whatever, get a little paint on the sides of this thing. So you're just getting a lot of kind of medium tones blocking everything in right now. But then you can come back and use lighter and darker colors and really define everything. Alright, that blob of white, too much right there. You might need to kind of dab some of it off. You got something that's a little too wet and kind of not what you want. Once you got some dark spots, you can use lighter colors to carve out some little mushroom guys there. Make them different shapes. Alright, well I guess we're going to leave it right there, but that's a quick little start. We got little mushroom guys on the bottom. We got the little happy little turtle, terrapin, tortoise guy there, you know, whatever you want to call him on this one. And a little owl sitting on his banjo headstock there with a tree in the background. And that was a pretty quick little, you know, example of how you can get a painting really blocked in quickly, and then when you come back to it, you have something to kind of refine and bounce your own ideas off yourself, because you're like, oh man, look at that, or like, oh god, I need to change that part. Definitely. So we keep it nice and loose and juicy and goosey and all that in the beginning stages, and have fun with it. Thank you for watching. BrianBarnardArt.